Hello everyone, today we have a new project we actually started. So we are going to work on this item. That's a kit from Abrex, and you can see it comes in a quite unusual, well, typical scale for scale models of the cars, but not that typical for a scale modeler. So it comes in 143, and we have a Skoda 12011, actually 01 sedan version. There is also a touring version, but I decided to check this one. I reviewed it in the separate video, so if you would like to check a bit more detailed view on the parts, you can see it there. Today in this video we will be talking about the building process of this kit, and it's quite interesting. Why? Because this is not a plastic kit, or let's say any model kit in its typical, I would say, style, because here, as you can see, we have some pre-painted parts. We also have a combination of different materials. It means metal, plastic and PE parts, and also rubber, and it will be easy to assemble for beginners, but it's also interesting to see how it will be getting together if you would like to upgrade it. For example, I would like to show you, let's remove this car body, because there are several things I would like to show you. So first of all, we have this car body shell, and as you can see, it looks quite fine. I mean, there is nothing to complain about. We have even the pre-painted parts. It's a police car, but overall finish, as you can see, it's a satin finish. I wouldn't say that it's glossy, so the first thing to do will be glossy finish. Of course, it would be a good idea to remake a bit the handles, because they're a bit more shiny, they're chromed here. And also I will work on various elements such as tail lights, for example, headlamps, and some interior parts as well, because they will be visible. By the way, regarding interior parts, you can see them here out of black parts. And I mean, they're molded out of black plastic. With glasses we also have quite an interesting story, because as you can see, these glasses are pre-painted, so you won't have to mask them, but still there is a bit more space for, let's say, upgrading, because we can add some chrome finish, so it will be interesting to see how is it possible to do so. And as for the PE parts, they're actually made by Edward, surprise surprise. So here you can see them. These are screen wipers, they're pre-painted, so there is nothing to modify, but still, I mean, it will be quite detailed model out of the box, but we would like to make it even more detailed with all, I would say, standard means. So there won't be any scratch building, there will be only painting and maybe slight modification of the standard plastic parts, because you can see the plastic is not that, I would say, full of the features, but also we should consider that this is a small scale. So let's start this project and see what will be improved in this kit. Everything starts with the car interior. As you can see, we have several parts to be combined together, and frankly speaking, there is plenty of space for improvements, but I decided to keep it as minimum as possible. And the only thing which was interesting for me to modify, it was the handles on the front seats. They should be visible through the windows, so that's why it might be a handy upgrade, and it's quite easy thing to do, because you can copy it with a standard metal wire by super gluing it on the backs of the front seats. Next important thing is the car body, because it comes in a matte surface and I decided to cover it with a gloss lacquer. Then we return back to the interior parts. As you can see, I chosen the blue interior just to add a bit of visual interest, but obviously it will not stay just full colored blue. Some of the elements will be picked up with a thin brush and black and white paint, or maybe it's more of a cream color. And I was checking some of the reference photos of the real cars. Such configuration existed in real life, so that's why I decided to apply it for my build. You can also notice that seats middle sections were also picked up with a light color. Such double color version was officially produced by Skoda, so do not be surprised, it's a real combination. Next we return back to the car body. As you can see here, we have several layers of the gloss coat applied. It was also slightly polished in order to get even more shine, and in my opinion it's even better appearance than what we get out of the box. But be careful, because some of the decals already pre-applied, they are not looking straight lined, and that might be a bit tricky. Maybe you can fix it with a paint, who knows, but I decided to leave it as it is. But another important thing is to bring out all the panel lines, and it was done with a panel accent line from Tamiya. As you can see, it's quite easy to flow when you have a gloss surface, and do not overdo it so that it won't look artificial on your model. After this, we are going for clear parts. They are supplied with a pre-painted seal, so it's just a matter of careful installation, maybe cleaning them from all plastic bits. So be sure to dry fit in order to see that it installs properly without any gaps or other issues visible to eye. Next step is again returning back to the interior. You can see that we are coming back for some minor parts. There are also some PE parts being applied outside. These are screen wipers and other things. But note that in order to install the interior, you will have to actually bend the sidewalls and insert all this stuff into the car body, and then you have the whole subassembly ready. It should be fixed in place with help of the screws, so it's not a difficult task. And as the final step was the finishing compound from Tamiya. It's used for polishing. You just slightly buff it into the gloss lacquer in order to get even more shine, and you can see it under the light here. So here we are finishing this build, and you can see that this Skoda is ready. And I have to note that this kit was a bit challenging in some parts, because as you noticed in the video, some parts were having a lot of flash, and you had like to decide which amount of plastic stays and which one should be cut off, because you're not sure, as it is not like clearly stated
in the manual, but from the other side this pre-painted body is more or less fine. As you remember, it was completely matte, so that's why I decided to go for this gloss finish. I also polished with Tamiya paste, so that's why it is even more, I would say, mirror-like surface, and I really like it. It's more of a, let's say, the same look as on the real vehicle, and I think it looks fine with this Skoda. Another important thing in my opinion, and it's something what I would do in the first turn, is to do the panel lines, because otherwise they're just finished in the blue color, which is not that natural. Note that they're not that deep in some areas. I did not deepen them or enlarge them with my own tools, because as you remember, we decided that it will be completely out of the box version, even though I added the handles, but as you can see, they're barely noticeable inside. You have to peek inside the interior in order to see them, so that wasn't, let's say, worthy upgrade, as well as the interior, because as you can see, I painted interior into the big blue color, and again it is barely noticeable because it's dark blue and it just hides inside. Maybe if you shine with a flashlight, then you'll be able to notice. Nevertheless, another challenge is with the front grille. So here you have to insert these 3 sections of the chrome grille into the slots, but it's not as easy as it sounds, because obviously these holes are not as large as they should be, so you have to do some sanding. And what I ended up doing is just to cut off these 3 sections and install them one by one, because otherwise it was really tricky. Here we continue with the rear tab, which was broken on my set, and by the way, here you can see another thing which arrived to me. It's a slight mark on the car body. Maybe it is possible to fix it with a putty, but it will be up to you if you would like to go for such upgrade, let's say. Another thing is this line on the side, so if you would like to get a better appearance, I would rather repaint it, because as you can see, it is made with the decals and it's not completely up to the line in some areas, so that's also something to consider. But from the other side, if you are not, let's say, fan of the original boxing of the die-cast models, you would like to build your own, this is a really perfect chance, and I like that they decided to give you such chance. I mean, Abrex has a great potential to develop it into even better series, especially considering that they're making modern models of the Skodas. It would be cool to assemble some rally car with your own upgrades and colors even in 1/43 scale. It's still quite an interesting build, and of course I will be happy to hear your opinion without this build. So if you have something to say it here in the comment section below. If you like this video, definitely press the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and of course stay tuned, there will be more close-ups in the end of this video to show you this model overall. So thank you for joining me again, and I will see you in the next project as usual. Bye!